Good afternoon, all of you. Today, I am going to teach you the transmission of pathogen. It is from the subunit 3.2. It is from plant pathology. Transmission of pathogen, it can include seed-borne, soil-borne, and seed-borne. What is transmission? The dispersal of plant pathogen from infected plant to the healthy plant is called transmission. The transmission of pathogen is essential because if the pathogens are not transmitted, there will be overcrowding of pathogen and the host will not get sufficient space and food material for the growth of pathogen and its progeny. And for this purpose, the transmission of pathogen is essential. When the pathogen is transmitted, it can be catch new host and grow there with less resistance. It can get plenty of food and the space. The transmission is also essential for continuance of the continuance of the remaining organisms. The transmission of pathogen is also known as distribution, dissemination and contamination. What is distribution? The transfer of pathogen into a new geographical area, it is called distribution. What is dissemination? The transfer of pathogen within general area having same environmental condition is called dissemination. And what is contamination? Transfer of pathogen for a short distance is called contamination. There are two types of dissemination of the plant pathogen, that is direct transmission and indirect transmission. Direct transmission and indirect transmission. Transmission of pathogen can be that is of the two types of transmission, direct transmission and the indirect transmission. The direct transmission, it can be takes place through the seeds and vegetative parts. Indirect transmission, it can be takes place by the autonomous, that is by wind, water, animals or human beings also. The transmission, it can be takes place by various ways, that is the anemochory, or that is the transmission which can be takes place through the wind, it is called as anemochory. Then hydrochory, hydro means water and chory means transmission. Here the dispersal of plant pathogen, it can be takes place through the water, it is called hydrochory. Then zoochory, zoo means animal and chory means transmission. The transmission of plant pathogen through the animals, it is called zoochory. And anthropochory, anthropo means the man or human beings and chory means transmission. Here the dispersal of plant pathogen through the human beings, it is called anthropochory. Then direct transmission, it can be takes place through the seed or vegetative parts. The bean mosaic, it is also transmitted through the seeds also. Then in case of loose mud of feet, it is caused by Ustilago tritici and the seeds get infected without producing any symptoms in the parent carrier. The seeds can transmit the mycelium of the fungus. Then healthy looking seeds, they can be used for propagation, and if they are infected, then the pathogen they can develop systematically inside the host, and when they can grow inside the host, the leaf blight of feet is both internally as well as externally, it is seed borne. Helminthosporium as well as the blight of feet, and barley satu, it is a type of feet. Barley is also seed borne. Then the seed borne infection is present in the form of mycelium within the seed including endosperm and embryo. The fungus has been found remain viable up to 7 years on the barley seed, and it can form the disease, that is blight of the wheat as well as the blight of barley can be also formed. Blight means that is the suddenly the plants they get fall. It is called as blight. Then the blight of paddy, it can be also caused by the Xanthomonas oryzae. Xanthomonas oryzae, it is the bacterium, and it can causes the blight of paddy. Paddy means bhat, and this is caused by the Xanthomonas oryzae, and it is also the seed borne, and therefore the disease is also the seed borne. The pathogen, it can be also directly transmitted through the vegetative parts which can be used for propagation. There are several vegetative parts they can be used for propagation, such as tubers in potato, cuttings, that is stem cuttings in different plants as well as in sugarcane, then sweet potato, then sometimes runners as well as grafting branches they can be used, and these vegetative parts they can also transmitted the pathogen. The ring rot of potato, it is also caused by the bacterium, that is the Corynebacterium sepedonicum. Then the infected of potato tubers they can be used, and this disease they can be also transmitted. A large number of viruses they are also transmitted through the vegetatively propagated parts, such as the seed sets of the sugarcane can also carry the pathogen. When healthy looking vegetative parts of the sugarcane stems they can be sown, and the pathogen develops systematically from the birth also to the plants, and the diseases they can be caused, such as the fifth smut of sugarcane. Fifth smut of sugarcane, it can that is the fifth smut of sugarcane. The sugarcane plant they can produce such diseases. It is the fifth smut, and the tip portion of the sugarcane it can develop into sooty mass, and it contains the chlamydospores. It is called the fifth smut. चापकासारखा असा वरचा आकार येतो म्हणून त्याला वेब स्पॉट म्हणतात, and it can be caused by the fungus, that is Ustilagocytamenia. Then red rot of the sugarcane plants they can this is the nodes and internodes, and at the rotting can be takes place inner side, and then such a red rot of sugarcane it can be also caused by the fungus, and the name of that fungus is the Colatotrichum fulcatum. Colatotrichum fulcatum. This fungus it can causes the rotting in sugarcane stems. This is also the seed borne, and the Colatotrichum fulcatum it is also the causes red rot. Rotting of the stems can be takes place. Then smut spores like grain smut of jawar, it is also transmitted through the seeds, and it is caused by the fungus Specialotheca sorghum. Then the disease it is also the soil borne. Here the pathogens like the bacteria, fungi, viruses they are transmitted through the soil. The wood rotting fungi such as Ganoderma, Polyporus, Armillaria, they can migrate independently through the soil also, from plant to plant as well as from field to field. The downy mildew of Bajra, it is caused by the fungus Sclerospora graminicola. The wood spore of this Sclerospora graminicola it can fall inside the soil, and it can survive about the 7 to 10 years. And into that period when Bajra can grow, the disease can be also borne, and there are different plant parts, they can be buried inside the soil. And when the next time when bajra plant can grow, at that time the disease is also born, and therefore the disease is also the soil borne also. Then many fungi, they can remain inside the soil. There are many other fungi, that is Armillaria, Melia, Rhizomorphs, spread from the one root to the another root in forestries. The hypalmats grow out to the short distances in the soil also. Then the root rot of cotton is also transmitted through the soil also, and these pathogens, they can be transmitted 5 to 30 feet from 5 to 30 feet within a one season also. Then the disease is also the airborne. In the air there are so many microorganisms, they are also present, and the microorganisms, they can transfer through the wind currents, that is about the 600 miles without stop, and they are lifted about 72 kilometers high up in the air, and this transfer is common in fungus spores, and they can blow with the air currents along with the conidia as well as spores of the fungus. They can be also transferred early in the morning, and some seeds of pathogenic angiosperm, they are also transmitted by the wind also. The angiospermic plant parasites, they can be also effectively transmitted by wind also. There are several fungi as well as spores of the fungi as well as conidia. They can be transmitted or disseminated by the wind, that is downy mildew, powder mildew, rust, smut, lip spots, causing the pathogens as well as the sooty molds. They can also transmitted by the wind also, and numerous spores, they can be transported from one place to another place, and when the conditions are favorable, at that time they can be transmitted from one area to the another area. And there are several modifications, they can be also formed in these fungi also, because they can choose the countless spores, they can be produced. Many spores are produced, and large number of spores are present, therefore they can be transmitted from one place to another place. The spores are dry and dust like. Sometimes they have appendage for floating in the air, and they are developed such characters, and therefore they can be transmitted from one place to another place. Then the mycelium of the fungus, they can be lifted from one place to another place. They are very dry and light in weight, and they can be also transmitted from the diseased area to the healthy area, and therefore the transmission of pathogen, it is seed borne, soil borne, and the air borne also.